The best way to study is to take practice tests, and if you can't find good practice tests, build your own and learn while you do it using the Learn My Test study tool. It's absolutely free at learnmytest.com, and click on the link in the description to take a practice test that I made using the Learn My Test study tool. And so right now I'm going to talk about monocular visual cues. And so I'm going to show you some pictures from my travels around the world. So this is a Homonte Lake in Peru, and it's quite a hike to get up there. The altitude's really high, but as you can see, it's extremely beautiful. What a beautiful place. And so linear perspective is the idea that things converge at the end. So see how it appears like the water is just like converging to this one point right here. Um, when we perceive something as continuing to go far away, we tend to perceive something to stop at one point. And so it looks like, this point, so we know that the water keeps going until it gets to the end of the mountain. So that's linear perspective. Relative size. So this is in Bangkok, Thailand, and this is my wife. This is the rooftop bar. It's actually where uh, I think it was Hangover 2 was filmed at this bar. And like I said, Bangkok, Thailand. It's very expensive. That drink was extremely expensive. But my wife is showing a picture of the drink, and this is Bangkok, and you can see that the drink is really, really big, and all these buildings that are obviously way bigger than this drink my wife is holding. But the drink is a lot bigger than the building in this picture because the building is further away. So things that are closer to us appear bigger, and things that are further away appear smaller. That is an example of relative size. So I'm going to jump to the next one. This is overlap. So see how the stairs going up are my wife's face is being shown over the stairs, and my face is being shown instead of the stairs. So when we're overlapping, but you can see me instead of the stairs, and that's a sign that I'm closer, or my wife is closer to the photographer in this picture than this step is, or this step is, or this step is, or the back of this wall is. So that is overlap. So aerial perspective is the idea that when you're looking at something further away, things get blurrier. So see how this is also Bangkok, Thailand. So you can see how things get blurrier as you look further into the distance. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next slide. So this is shape constancy. And so it's the idea that even though the actual shape of something changes based on how an object is positioned, we still generally perceive it as the same shape. So with a door, we still perceive it as a rectangle, even though here, when the door is slightly open like this, it actually is a trapezoid. So see? And then here it's even more like a trapezoid, even though it changes positions and the shape looks different, we still perceive it as a rectangle. This is color constancy. So right here, this is kind of a famous one. So you can see that uh, this shape or this color here, even though it's darker, appears, whoops, this color here appears the same as this color here, even though they're different colors because of the shadow, they appear the same, and that's called color constancy. So, I'm going to talk about some illusions real quick. So, size relativity is one illusion. So, and this is true with color too. So, based on how certain things are surrounded, that can affect your perception of, the color, size, whatever, right? So, if you're surrounded by a bunch of really tall people and you're an average height, you're going to look short, compared to, you know, even though you're not really short, you're just around a bunch of tall people, but you're just going to look short. So for example, like you may see a basketball player who's a guard and you're like, oh, he's really tall and then or really short, and then you see him in person and he's actually like 6'6", and he just appears short because on TV he's standing next to all these big tall basketball players. So this is a good example of that. So you can see here there's these big circles around this blue dot, and here there's these little circles. This one looks bigger than this one, but really they're the same size, right? And so it's just who you surround yourself with. So another example is maybe if you go out, if you have a bunch of friends who are really ugly, and you're okay, average looking, you're going to look more attractive than if maybe you're with a bunch of friends that are really attractive. You may and you're average looking, you may look a lot worse because you're around all these people that are really attractive. So we tend to do that. We tend to compare people to things that are around us, and that's how we make judgments. We can't really make a judgment um, without other things to compare it to, right? So it's funny because I'm 5'7", and I was sitting at the back of a pool. We were playing volleyball, and I had all these shorter people in my group, and all the taller people were on the other side. And I said something like, "Yeah, I feel tall back here." And my friend, who's like 6'4", 6'5", said, "In the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king." And I was just like, you couldn't just let me enjoy being tall for once in my life. Um, so this is a Necker cube. It's kind of a cool illusion. We kind of fill in the blanks here, so you can see a lot of you guys may see a, uh, a cube in this piece here. And then this is the illusion of motion. And what the Ciccarelli and White textbook is, which I've used somewhat to create some of these. All these um, pictures are from Wikipedia. They're open source, but the Ciccarelli and White textbook says that the reason that we see an illusion of motion is because there's no evidence here that tells us that these things aren't moving. There's no neurons here in these visual cues that tell us that this is not moving. And this is super cool. I mean, I could stare at this for a while. So this is like I said, an illusion of motion. So that concludes our video on visual perception. Thank you so much for watching the video. Remember, the best way to study is to take practice tests. And if you can't find good practice tests, build your own and learn while you do it using the Learn My Test study tool. Thank you again for watching.